Sheffield versus Man City. Do we need to say anything?
It's another day of stat padding.
Yeah, 4-1.
Get the goal difference up.
4-0 for me.
I like 3-0 to City.
And I don't mean to Sheffield.
I think what happens with City is Pep's looking at these kind of games and they could potentially go 3-0 up within the first half. Now let's kind of sub these players. Haaland doesn't need to play 90 minutes against Sheffield, So I think we could potentially see a drop kind of last 20, 30 minutes of the game. So I'm still going to go 3-0. I don't think it's going to be, a massive blowout. Because I think that they're just going to start rolling the subs.
Yeah, look, and I think these games for these type of teams like Sheffield that are definitely going to be in the lower, in the relegation battle. If you think of it strategically, a 2-0 loss may not sound great to the travelling fans, but when it comes to the end of the year of goal differences, those are the type of games that will have played a big role in making sure you stay up or you get relegated, because a lot of stuff does come down to goal difference. And you have to, if you're tied on points and you're out of the goal difference race, you've got to perform differently or better than your opposing team that's in that relegation battle, because that goal difference is basically 1 point, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see how many Man City put on them, but I think it'll be up to them how many they want to put on them. 4-0 me. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think going to the goal difference point, I think last season, if you look at the bottom six, I think for that last relegation spot, it was like 1 or 2 goals between those 3 teams. And that's like very important for them. But also what Ollie was saying about the rotation, I think what's going to happen is he'll start the big boys and then they'll go 2-0 up in the first half an hour, 3-0 up in the first half an hour, and then he'll bring on Palmer and Rico Lewis and all those guys. Just to calm the game down. So I think I'm going to go 3-1. Just because I think that when he makes those changes, they're going to probably lose a bit more control of the game for Man City. Yeah.
The next up is Newcastle. This is the Sunday roast. You sit down, late dinner.
Drown your sorrows as a Liverpool fan.
As a Liverpool fan, because I hate to say it, but I think Newcastle cut them to pieces, and I think this game's a 3-1. Sorry, Ahmad. I know he's agreeing with me because he knows the beating is coming. I got 3 Liverpool fans in here. 4 Liverpool fans. 3-1 Newcastle. I think that just a bridge too far for Liverpool this weekend.
Last season I think we would say Newcastle troubled Liverpool. I think the narrative's kind of changed a bit. We could look at this and be like, Liverpool might trouble Newcastle this weekend, but...
Well, that's why I think that at 2.20, 2.23 on Betway...
Newcastle win.
I like them for a win, yeah.
Look, I think it's... Liverpool are not as defensively sound as City are, so I don't think we're going to see as low scoring a game as Newcastle City. I think in that thing, it's both... That match was 2 teams with great scoring capacity that are also very well structured in terms of defence, so it ended up coming down to a goal, where I think we all expected a few more goals.
I think the first 20 minutes of that Liverpool game against
Bournemouth,
they look terrible.
If that's Newcastle, they're 3-0 up already.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing, is I think Liverpool, again, will always have the capacity, doesn't matter who they're playing, to score 2 goals in any given game, and I think they will. But I just think that Newcastle are going to outscore us. I think it's going to be 3-2 to Newcastle.
Yeah, you're actually right. It could be a high-scoring game, but I think it'll be one that for every goal Liverpool get, Newcastle get 2.
Yeah.
Could be a real entertaining game.
So how many goals is that?
Look, I'm not going to say you. I'm going to say 4-2 Newcastle.
Okay.
I think there will be goals.
Yeah, I think that watching Liverpool in that first 20 minutes against Bournemouth was genuinely painful. Yeah. It was like it feels like nothing's changed since last season. When it comes to defensively, Newcastle are a lot more of a way bigger threat offensively this season than last season. I think that if they have someone like Callum Wilson coming off the bench late into the game, I think that he could score a goal against Liverpool with the way that we were defending against Bournemouth. Bournemouth had opportunities throughout the 90. It wasn't just the first 20 minutes. It was Liverpool could never get control of the game. And when it was funny because when Liverpool went down to 10 men, they started controlling it better. But still, Bournemouth were having chances.
Well, it seems like there's still that attempt at a triple crown hangover. And the mistakes they were making the first 20 minutes, they were embarrassing.
Rookie errors.
Yeah. And if you give the ball away to a Newcastle team, like you say,
Isak,
they're going to punish you.
Yeah, if Isak gets the ball 1-on-1 with Alisson, I think he scores. I don't think he misses the target.
Yeah.
I also think that Liverpool away from home this season are going to struggle. I think last season they struggled as well, especially in the first half of the season. I think they went 1-0 down in the first half. They went 1-0 down pretty much every single away game for the first 10 away games of the season or something. I'm going to go... I originally went 2-1 Newcastle, but I think that they're going to score more goals. I think I'm going to go take a big gamble here, 4-3 Newcastle.
Yeah, 7-goal thriller. We all love that.
Check the odds on over 6.5.
What are you saying?
I said 3-2 to Newcastle.
He hasn't changed your mind?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, so we all believe that Newcastle are going to beat Liverpool. We haven't said that in many years.
No, we
on
haven't.
On a Liverpool loss, and that's even against the champions. What a game to have.
Liverpool would be winning the title if they beat Newcastle.
Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So there we have it. Any games you're going to be betting on this weekend? I'm going to put some money in your account, don't I?
Out of loyalty, I'm going to leave those tantalizing odds on Newcastle because I don't want to be watching the Liverpool game, split two ways. So I'm going to... There's nothing that really jumps out for me in terms of just looking at that. I think I need to dig it deeper into maybe the corners and the over-under goals. But in terms of results, I think at this stage, there's been a lot of parity in the first 2 weeks. I think the bookies have it pretty spot on with what the odds they've given.
Red cards and yellows could be interesting because there were 4 or 5 in the last weekend. I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think that I was going to do some research this weekend and have a look at the amount of goals compared to last year and the cards. I mean, there's certainly been so many sending offs and yellows, and I guess that's from the directive of the English PA.
I think I saw a video they were saying at the rate that it's going at this point, it's like every 4.8 games there's a red card this season. So there's there's almost 3 a game week now.
Handballs don't matter anymore.
No, apparently not.
I think we saw the first shows we were shooting was that Premier League season where the handballs were just
and they changed the rules
for everything. It's just I think just as a sports fan at the moment, it's an incredibly frustrating time. You look at rugby as well. It's just the inconsistency with the application of this technology and of these laws. The laws change every year, but then the application from the officials changes too. You just actually don't know where you stand. You look at that. I think there was a handball in the Spurs game that they get called, but then a handball in the Chelsea-Liverpool game. That was like an obvious handball. That was.
And then I think also Brighton conceded the penalty where I think it was Dunk dove at the ball and his hand was behind his back, and that was given, but the Spurs United one, his arm was there and that wasn't given. So it's like. How about that
penalty, the goalkeeper of Man United who came out
against Wolves,
gang tackled the...
See, it's just, I think that's the frustration, is that the technology isn't necessarily flawed. It's that the individuals operating it are just, they need to get into a room, which apparently they do, and just speak to each other and be like, what are we giving? What are we giving? What are we not giving? Because it changes every game. There can be a challenge that you could show a referee the exact same video, just change the color of their shirts, and they could give you completely different calls. And it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And I doubt if we're going to make any sense of it on this show. But this week, we're going to still have the same $5,000 prize. I think it's been 2 weeks in a row for picking all 10 results, correct outcomes.
Can we answer?
Yeah, you can. Well, and then we've got 100,000 for anybody that can get all the scores in the soccer games correct.
I've been saving my 10 picks for this week.
And I'm going to launch another fund but you can't buy into this fund. I put 21 grand of my own money into the fund. I want 21 people to apply as to why I should give them the 1,000 rand, and I'll bet for them all year. And it's going to be the riskiest fund I've ever run. It's going to be accumulators, all sorts of stuff.
Cool.
And look to give these guys a decent payout at the end of the year. So
Exciting stuff.
if you send me a DM me, tell me why you think you should be one of the 21 that are going to be part of my self-funded fund for you guys. And if it motivates me enough, I'll put you in, and I'll announce the winners in the show next week. Thanks, guys.